The hottest comic books in the world are so dang cheap that this list is officially looking like a 2024 buy list.
For sure, we got manga on the list, we've got James Gunn speculation, the Energon Universe, people are still talking about Madam Web, and we're starting to see the decline of Dazzler.
Slap the like button, it's 2024, do it for the new year, do it for Comic Butch, and Jem, you foreshadowed it, at the list at number 10, we got a double key.
Yeah, that's right, we got the Free Comic Book Day 2016 One Punch Man / My Hero Academia. We've been seeing manga slowly creep on the list, and just before we hit record, I got an email that Beckett is now grading manga.
What do you think about grading manga in the comment section below? This is Beckett, the parent company of CBCS. Hopefully there's no Mark Jeweler mangas.
And this one is a comic book format. Number 10 on the list is the first appearance of One Punch Man in comic book format, and the first time that My Hero was published in the comic book size.
I recently started My Hero Academia. I'm on season 2, total coincidence, but I love it. It's so much fun. It's more lighthearted than the last anime that I started watching, which was Attack on Titan, which is brutal, but I digress because My Hero Academia, we haven't heard any news since 2022, but it is slated for Netflix. Did it survive the actors and writers strike? We don't know yet, but same can be said about One Punch Man. We found out about a live-action adaptation June of 2023 with no new news.
The book's hitting the list this week because we have a CGC 9.0 that sold for $90, 27% above its 12-month average. The 9.4 is up 22%, the 9.6 is up 31%, and a 9.8 sold for $350, which is 15% above its average.
There's a lot going for manga right now, and I think this right here is a great sign of optimism in the investor space. Keep an eye out on various titles like these. I'm waiting for Dragon Ball Z to make the list again. Considering the success of One Piece, I find it no surprise that members are starting to feel safe in manga-style investments. Probably why grading is on the way.
Yeah, we've been slowly seeing the first appearance of manga and anime characters in comic books hit the list, and now we're going to see the actual manga volumes being graded. Exciting times for manga.
Use code TOM101 on the best comic app in existence. There's a lot of funny books to know, a lot of key comics to know. It's really tough to even keep track of the books you own, let alone get suggested pricing. And you can do all of that and support the show by using code TOM101 on Key Collector Comics. Available for both Androids and iPhones. It's where we source all the information for our Hot 10. And you get access to this list of 10 before we even hit the mic.
Moving on to number 9 on the list, looking into the future, we have House of Secrets 92, the first appearance of Swamp Thing.
This right here has clearly been one of the strongest performing books throughout all of 2023. And I think that it's a major thing to accomplish because there's so many new things coming down the DC slate courtesy of James Gunn that this is something that we've already gotten before. Swamp Thing's already been seen on the screen multiple times. In fact, it was canceled in the last few years. Collectors don't care. They believe in this horror narrative that is going to be brought to you not just by James Gunn, but James Mangold.
Collectors have a lot of faith in this book because this was one of the first titles to be announced for James Gunn's new DCU. One of the only movies with a director attached. It's probably going to be one of the earlier films that we see come out. We got a CGC 3.0 selling for $800, 9% above average. The 6.0 is up 10%. The 7.0 is up 21%. And the 8.5 just sold for $3,600, 11% above its average.
This is one of the strongest performing books amongst so many others that were dropping 50 to 75+%. And we're talking major keys here. A 9.6 of this issue sold September of last year for the same price as its record that was set in 2021, $33,600. Yes, there's only 31 copies graded at a 9.6, but it didn't move a dollar. Well, the 9.4, although it's down, it's not down by much. The price was set for $15,600 in April. The last GPA sale reports a $14,400 sale. This book is barely moving despite the adjustment period at best that we're in.
We've got fans excited about manga, people excited about the James Gunn DCU, and still people are excited about Madam Web. We have Amazing Spider-Man 210 at the list at number 8, the first appearance of Madam Web.
9.6 outsold the recent 12-month average, the highest selling for $320. The heights this book reached was $2,500 at a 9.8. The last GPA sale clocked in at $690. This right here, I suspect, is a massive amount of members who are looking at the trailer and selling now to get out. The books are dropping, And there's a lot of Spidey fans still.
It makes sense that we're seeing a lot more copies hit the market with the movie coming out on February 14th, but these buyers are a lot more confident in the book than I am. I'm sure we'll never see this book hit the list after the movie drops.
And if we do see it, it's probably because even more people are bringing it to the market, and Spidey fans are looking at another opportunity to grab a book at a deal that it hasn't been in over 3 years. Next on the list is G.I. Joe, number 1 at the list at number 7. The 8.0 is up 30%, 8.5, 11%, 9.4 up 25%, 9.6 just sold for $324. That's an increase of 7%. And look at this 9.8 newsstand selling for $1,650. That's an increase of 28%.
Not only do we have the Energon Universe killing it in comics, we have releases for G.I. Joe, for Cobra Commander, for Duke, but you also have that shared Transformers G.I. Joe universe in the movies. The last time we talked about this book was on December 4th, about a month ago, when it hit number 7 on the list, and there have been 58 more slabs added to the census since then, bringing that up to about 6,500.
This book was trending right around the $2,000 to $2,500 marker at its height back in 2021 at a 9.8. Newsstands clear in the $5,000 range. This book has dropped so much, and it's one of the hottest IPs of 2023. I think collectors are just seeing a great opportunity now for a book that would be great in any personal collection.
Speaking about personal collections, everyone should have this one in their PC. Number 6 on the list, you have Giant Size X-Men number 1, the first appearance of the new X-Men team, Storm, Colossus, Nightcrawler, and Thunderbird.
Hit the subscribe because we keep track of all of these sales, all of these rankings, and we have a very good picture about what particular books are doing in this marketplace. This comic book hit heights of over $70,000, last sold for $30,000 at a 9.8, and we typically see 9.8s hit the market in the amount of 8 to 10 times a year, except for last year where only 4 sold publicly, indicating that members are holding this book because the prices are getting too cheap, which means that if you're interested in a giant size, we are approaching the rock bottom on many grades.
The CGC 3.5 sold for $1,805, putting it 24% above average. The 4.0 up 5%. The 7.0 about average, just 1% higher with its $2,850 sale. And then we have the 9.2 selling for $6,000, 5% above its average.
We haven't seen 9.8s take a dip like this, not just in price, but sheer availability in the market since 2009. Oh, how the market has changed. Moving on to number 5 on the list, possibly the best or worst spec of 2023. As we go into 2024, we have Uncanny X-Men 130. This is the first appearance of Dazzler. Will Taylor Swift be Dazzler? Will she be Taylor Swift? Will she be I almost said Lady Death. Lady Deadpool. Lady Death would be cool, but Lady Deadpool, I don't know. But the members are still buying this comic book.
Yeah, and I was never on board with this, that if Taylor Swift portrays Dazzler in a movie, that somehow all the Swifties are going to buy this copy and make it more valuable. I never thought it was good speculation, but collectors are still buying it. We've got a newsstand 6.5 selling for $150, 20% above average. The newsstand 8.0 is up 17%. The 9.0 direct market selling for $303 puts it 42% above average.
The 9.2 up 32%, 9.4 36, 9.6 32%. A 9.8 just sold for $1,710. That's an increase of 10%. Clearly, members are still speccing on this book aggressively as we move into the new year.
But they're not speccing as hard as they were during the comic boom of 2021. Somebody must have thought this book in a 9.8 was going to be super valuable in the future because they spent $3,050 October of 2021. The last GPA sale was $1,500, which is less than the high from this week, showing you that you can still find a good deal if you're patient.
We've been providing the comic community the hottest comic books in the world list every week for over 3.5 years straight without skipping a beat. The Trending 10 video we've been doing for closer to 5 years. Support what we do by supporting the channel. Go to ComicTom101.com, join the mystery mail call. $34.99 gets you a box of funny books from us, and 2 guarantees in every single box this month are going out, and they're bangers. We have Spider-Gwen Smash #1, a John Jang trade dress cover. We also have Batman 121, a first appearance of Mr. Freeze being reprinted by the former art director of God of War, now Netflix art director, Raph Grassetti. Join the community, and let's get back to the list at number 4, because you know we just got done talking about G.I. Joe. we got to bring you over to Transformers.
That's right, the Energon Universe in full effect with Transformers issue number 1, the first appearance of your favorite Autobots and Decepticons from 1984 with that beautiful Billy S. cover.
Jem, does this solicitation for Transformers issue 6 by Daniel Warren Johnson drum up any memories? End of arc. One will stand, one will fall.
Of course, anybody familiar with the original Transformers movie knows this is what Optimus Prime said to Megatron right before their final battle, where Optimus dies.
One shall stand, one shall fall.
The Autobots versus the Decepticons. This is it. Someone isn't going to survive. And if you've read issue 1, you know Daniel Warren Johnson's going to go all in and not protect any of your favorite characters. It's like Walking Dead, but Transformers, Jem.
Great analogy there. Walking Dead, but for Autobots. A CGC Newsstand 6.0 is up 7% from its 12-month average. The Direct Market 8.0 is up 4%. The 8.5 up 17%. We had 3 copies in a 9.2 outsell the 12-month average, the highest being for $248. And then we got the 9.4 up 17%. The 9.6 is up 9%. And then we have a Newsstand 9.8. Put an asterisk by it, although I don't think this was on that CGC list of tampered books, selling for $3,000, 14% above average.
The 9.8 Direct went for $3K at its height during the comic boom. We're seeing members pick them up for $1,400. This book, to me, seems like a safe bet at anything around that price, especially when you consider the uptick of 29 9.8s that's been added to the census in under 2 months.
All right, guys, number 3 on the list. If you're a fan of this franchise, this has to be the best time to buy this book ever.
From 1977, we have Star Wars number 1. The price is getting too low. Everybody's buying it. 6.0, up 54%. 7.0, 1%. 7.5, 26%. 9.0's up 7%, and the 9.6 is up 17%. The 9.8 had a high sale of $4,000?
$4,400 is a strong sale for that book during this time, but you got to remember, during the heights in 2022, this book sold for $9,600.
Now, we can't see this $4,400 book, but the last 9.8, since that sale was reported and the filming of our video today, sold for $2,660, and all throughout December, you could have gotten this book at a 9.8 closer to the $3,000 than $4,000. That's why you got to hit the subscribe button. We're trying to steer them right here, Jem.
And if you've already picked up your copy of Star Wars 1, you may want to consider this Star Wars 42 exclusive variant with artwork by Alan Qua.
We got lucky, Jem. We found out this week that our brand new exclusive has a first appearance of a new Sith in Star Wars 42. This Alan Qua cover is outstanding, featuring Grand Inquisitor right on it. $24 for a 1,500 print count Star Wars book. Link in the description. Support the show. We're making Star Wars variants now. As you're watching this video, the book is going online.
First appearance of a new character, low print count, beautiful artwork. You can't go wrong with this one as we move on to number 2 on the list. You know, you tend to see the book cool down once the movie comes out, but not in this case. Is there a bright future for Godzilla? Issue 1's making the list once again.
The movie cost under $20 million to make, and it's approaching the 100 million milestone marker. Will it make it? Well, despite that result, we are seeing this book being purchased every single week on an increasing amount, and the book keeps going up in value. Godzilla 1 is one of the hottest books in the world, and it's on my hunt list. The 9.0 is up 23%, 9.2, 6%, 9.4, 54%, 9.6 is selling for $250 for an increase of 38%, and 3 different 9.8s this last week outsold the 12-month average, the highest being for $541 for an increase of 28%, and it's well-deserved.
All right, guys, we got a new number 1, the hottest comic book in the world. And if you ask me, Deadpool 3 should have championed New Mutants 98 and this book right here, Incredible Hulk 180, the first cameo appearance, the first true appearance of Wolverine.
No Wolverine 1 Frank Miller on the list. In fact, we have the first appearance in story of Wolverine in Hulk 180. We have a lot of new members who have joined us over this last year, Jem. We haven't kicked this out to the community in quite a while. In the comment section below, Hulk 180 or 181, if someone asks you the simple question, what is Wolverine's first appearance in comic books? Because I know there's caveats to that question that will allow you to answer it to its fullest, but that is the question I'm posing to the community.
Personally, I'm more of a fan of Hulk 181. You got that beautiful red cover with Wolverine on the front and in the entire story, but I digress. A book that was not affected by the CGC tampering scam, so you could be confident with these sales and this book if you purchase it. We got a 3.5 up 24%, a 5.0 up 18%, the 7.0 is up 3%, the 7.5 sold for $1,125, which puts it 9% above its 12-month average, and then we got the 8.5 up 6%.
The 9.0 sold for $2K for an increase of 9%, and the 9.2 is up 4%, selling for $23.99. The 9.8 height was reached back in 2021 for $40,800. Last sale, April 2023. We haven't seen a 9.8 hit the market in quite a while, probably because it only sold for $24,000. This book has plummeted, but we know Logan's on the way. We know mutants are coming, and I got to know your thoughts. Is this a time to buy any of these comic books? Because it's starting to look like a buyer's market. Link in the description to join the community. Starting the year off right. Happy New Year. And as always,
Geek responsibly and stay minty fresh.
enough said.